أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Brother, Assalamu alaikum again. Brother Akbar.
Yes, sir.
Restate my subject for me. I'm getting old.
The application of Quranic.
It's the application of the problem. What we're talking about.
Yes.
I mean, I know basically what we're talking about, but I was trying to get the exact words. But
Yes.
we've been talking about syllabication and all of this. And today we want to show you some results of utilizing the process. But instead of syllabication, we're going to show you what you can see as a result of the syllabication. I also want to say this to you. Don't let me leave without doing it, Sister Robin. I do have the pages. I have 9 pages for you. I have 4 pages. Let me just explain that first for the syllabication part. On the exercises that we've been doing on syllabication, we have initiated a project to syllabicate the entire Holy Quran. And Sister Robin has stated that she's going to put it, inshallah, she's going to put it on the website where when you go to the syllabication of the Quran, you'll always be able to find all of it. You don't have to search here for this. You know how you do this, what Sunday was it? It will all be together. So that would be a great blessing, inshallah, alhamdulillah. And we have pronunciation key or pronunciation guide. So that's 4 pages, but it's very large writing. So it's not a lot on those 4 pages, but it's very large writing. It shows you all of the types of syllables that there are in the Quran or in the Arabic language. All of the types of syllables. An example, not all of them, but all of the types. There are only 4 types, and that's what the 4 pages. One page shows you what syllable type 1 looks like. The other page shows you what syllable type 2 looks like and has more than one example of each one of them. The next one shows, as a matter of fact, it has 10 examples of each one. 10 examples of type 1, 10 examples of type 2, 10 examples of type 3, and 10 examples of type 4, and Ray Charles could see them. Okay. So that's the pronunciation key, so you'll always be able to go back to what is, because I'm going to be using the syllabication today, but I don't have it syllabicated up. The only thing I'm doing today that emphasizes the syllables is that I have the vowels in red. So that's what. So I saw some people looking at, what is he doing? He changing pen. What is he doing? That doesn't look right. I wrote with black, and all the consonants were black, and then I wrote the vowels with red. Okay. The red part is that represents the sound. Okay. So let's go and do this that we have on the board today first to show you how this works to help you improve our understanding, because that's what we want is understanding, better understanding. Anybody that doesn't want better understanding, I won't give you your definition, but I'll say this. If you're like someone who does not want to know, and if you don't want to know, don't know and don't want to know, you're to be shunned. You all remember that saying, don't you? Say, how's it go? Say, if he knows not and knows not, no. If he knows not and knows not that he knows not, shun him. He's a fool. If he knows not and knows he knows not, teach him. If he knows, and I may not have it in the right order, but if he knows and knows that he knows, then follow him. He's wise. That was something from a civics book that I saw. I don't know whether it's exactly right or not. Okay, so the first thing we should always do, and this is not just first Sunday, this is anytime. Anytime we go to the Quran, according to the instructions that Allah gives us in the Quran, we seek refuge with Allah from shaitan. I'll tell a little joke to show you how that works. You could be, you get up in the morning, early in the morning, and you feel you had a good night's sleep, you get up and take your shower before you make fetching. You take your shower, and you got a lot to do that day, so then you put on your nice jalabi or your thobe or whatever, you know, and your kufi or your turban or whatever, and you have your staff, and you lay your sajada out on the floor. That's a prayer word they call sajada. Lay that out on the floor, and you make the hand. You get ready to stand and make the hand. And you're going to make the hand, and now you're ready to pray. And Shaitan will whisper to you. Because you laid out, you got your oils on too. You know, I mean, you're really ready. And you have pronounced every word correctly in there then. He'll whisper to you. You got this, it's not down, Jack. Ain't nobody like you. So before we pray, we seek the Lord's protection. Because I'm just showing now you say, well, Shaitan won't come to me while I'm praying. You don't know the sayings. The scripture saying, he said he'll come upon you not only from behind you, from your right and from your left, but in front of you, right in front of you. Right. So here you are, you standing to worship Allah. He comes straight up to you. Tell you, man, you got it. You got this thing. You know. So we seek refuge with Allah. Remembering, and that's for our lesson here today, or that's for any time that we are going to the Quran. Of course, we should seek refuge with Allah some other times also, all the time, but specifically, okay, for the Quran. Allah tells us to seek His protection. And so the red is representing the sound. So that's how you're going to be able to easily see the syllables. Now, the work that Sister Robin is going to be putting on the website, we're going to have every other syllable changing colors. In other words, red, black, red, black, red, black. That way, so I'm letting you know I'm using a different format here. Here I'm just putting the vowel sounds in red. But on the exercise that you have, you're going to have on the website, every other syllable will be a different color, so you will be able to know where a syllable stops. Because the separation does not indicate that it's another syllable. It may be and it may not be. Why? Because some letters won't accept a connection to them. But yet it's going with the next word. We may have an example of that up here. Yes, right here. The reason why this red letter is not accepted, because this letter here will not accept a connection. But these two actually go together. This and this go together in one syllable. In other words, this one with the one black dot and this with the two red dots together, that's one syllable. All right? But it's separated because the letters won't accept a connection. So on our Quranic syllabication project, we are writing not just red for the vowels. We don't separate. We write some vowels may be black depending on which syllable it's in that particular application, which we will be mentioning from time to time. To utilize it, you know that every time we change syllables, we change colors. That's not what we're doing here. Okay. Here we have just the vowels in red. Okay. Now, the thing that I see some faces that I haven't seen too often. Most of you have seen, but I haven't. So I remind you that the vowels represent the only sound that there is in the language. The consonants do just what their name says, consonant. Con means with, sonant means sound. They go with sound. They do not represent sound, but they go with sound to tell you where to start, stop, or start and stop making sound. They tell you where to start a sound, tell you where to stop a sound, tell you where to start and stop a sound. That's three different, they represent the position in which to start and stop making sound. That's really basically what I'm saying. That's what consonants do. That's how they go with sound, okay? All right. So the first line we have up here, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And we know that means I seek refuge with Allah from Satan, the rejected enemy. Everything we do in life, we shouldn't do it if we can't. I'm not saying that you got to stand up every time you're going to do something, Bismillah, Bismillah. But if you couldn't say Bismillah and do it, you shouldn't do it.
That's right.
All right. I'm not telling you you got to be a fanatic. Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. No. But if you couldn't say Bismillah, mean that you'd be ashamed to say Bismillah, then you shouldn't do it. Okay? All right. So we have the Bismillah meaning with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Now I want to get to the ayat here. And I couldn't remember where the ayat was. I had to go to the young. Did I show you we need the young brothers to come along and stay with us now, or we fade now? he had to find this verse from me before. I was up getting the football and couldn't remember. All right, so this particular ayat is the second chapter, third chapter, and the 102nd verse. I forgot that quick. Third chapter, 102nd verse. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, so I want to show you how recognizing certain marks increases your understanding. This is saying, "Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun." I want to show you something that is so easy to miss. First of all, because we're not pronouncing it. That's the last vowel. That's what I want to show you today. That last vowel over there. Enhanced, if you know the significance of that last vowel, which actually we said Muslimun, but it's actually what? Muslimunat. If you understood the significance of that last vowel, it would enhance your meaning, the meaning of the whole ayah. Now we know that's saying, "Oh, you who believe, taqullah, be God conscious," or worship Allah, be God conscious. Give God taqwa. This is taqwa. Taqu is the plural for taqwa. Have God consciousness in truth, or as it should be. They say some say as it should be, as it should be in reality, and as He deserves. And do not die unless you are Muslim. With that last word, Muslim, and the last vowel on Muslim. When you know what it means, it enhances the meaning of that the whole ayat. Pardon? I'm ready. Oh no, I thought someone was going to help me out with it. Okay. Anyone have any idea other than those of you who had Jumu'ah 2 Fridays ago? But anyone else have any idea on that last vowel, Muslimun? Or the significance of it. It says, we know the translation says, don't die except to be Muslim. How important is that other than I say I'm a Muslim? I mean, make sure that I don't go back to Christianity? Well, that's true too, yeah, but that's not the real. What's the real? It's something more significant than your vowels. Your vowels at the end of words. Now you have basically 3 types of words in Arabic. And then within those 3 types, they're broken down also. But the first thing that we recognize in Arabic is the fi'lun, the verbs, fi'lun. That's the most active, that's the activity. That's what's most important. And then you have the ism, which is the name of that. The name, that's the noun. That will be your noun. And then you have what's called particles. And within each one of those 3 categories, you have a breakdown. Okay? So the language, the significance of the language is in activity, and why is that important? I haven't forgotten about the moon. That is important because it's the way it should be. Since man did not create himself, nor anything, he can be creative, but he can only be creative with Allah's creation, which is already, he can't come up with something altogether new. He has to take something that's already here and use it creatively. All right, so that's why it says that Allah is the best of creators, because Allah creates something from nothing, and we can't do that. All right, so since we didn't create anything, we came here then as what? All the activities going on, we're doing what? We're just witnessing it. We're witnessing it. And that's how the language is based. He did this, he did that, he did. That's the basis of the Arabic language. your root words, the majority, now we have some other root words, but the majority of your root words are what they call third person, singular, masculine, past tense. Third person, past tense, singular, masculine. Third person meaning we're talking about it. See, in a conversation, you have three people, three possibilities. Some of us represent all three possibilities. We talk to ourselves about ourselves, and we're the speaker. All right. But the first person is the speaker. The second person is the person spoken to, and the third person is the person spoken of. I talked about. So we're talking about Allah's creation. And so that's how the language is structured. All right. So since we are witnessing, then that makes the language more meaningful than start talking about what I did. I. Now you're getting you're getting yourself in a position to be arrogant, to consider yourself self-sufficient or something. Whatever, everything is the witnessing. So then the second type of word is where we take that action word and we make it into a noun, meaning it is a doer in itself. All right. As a matter of fact, it is also called nominal verb. Verb nominal, meaning it's a noun made from a verb. That's where your nouns come from, verbs. All right. In Arabic, your nouns come from verbs. Okay. And now we are witnessing, and so to keep that in mind, then we should look for what is being said in this ayah. Each one of your nouns, not only are they in three categories as far as person, place, or thing, but they also can be used in three different ways, and we call these three ways case. Case. I mean, what case is it in? Is it in the nominative case? And I'm going to explain to you what each one is. In the nominative case, the possessive case, or the objective case. All right? Nominative meaning is naming the doer. Now, all nouns are going to be naming anyway, right? But it's naming the doer. Just that's all it's doing. If it's possessive, it's naming the owner. All right? And if it's objective, it's naming the one to or for something is done. The oo, if you know the three sounds, a, e, oo. If the oo is at the end of the oo or is a tanween, means double oo. Oo or that means that it is in the nominative case. If it's it or in, then that's in the possessive case. And if it's a or an, then that means it's in the objective case. So this word here, Muslim, is in the objective case. So it's not just naming Muslim. You see, remember I said we say a Muslim? No, this is not just naming Muslim. This is a Muslim to or for whom something is done. All right? What has been done to him or for him? Taqwa. That's the kind of Muslim we have to wind up being, one that is the result of God consciousness. That's so saying, in other words, so it's really saying more than die. Don't die unless you everybody know you say Assalamu alaikum. No, don't die unless you have lived your life with God consciousness. That's right. Everything that you do. That's what I mean. God consciousness means just making dhikr now. God consciousness means that everything I do, just like I was saying, if I can't say Bismillah, I shouldn't do it. That's the kind of God consciousness I'm talking about. I mean, if it's something so bad I don't want to mention Allah's name on it, I shouldn't do it. All right. So that's really what. So that one mark, just that one mark, which we don't even pronounce in the ayah. Why? Because what they call the rules of tajweed say. And tajweed means to make the language easier to pronounce. They say at the end of an expression, you do not pronounce the last vowel, and so that's why it's not pronounced. If it were another word coming behind it, then we would pronounce it. So we look then at this last word and then see that it is the end result of all that was said up here. Now, first of all, you're a believer. And you have taqwa in reality as it should be for Allah. This is what He deserves, all right? And then it says, do not die unless you are Muslimun. Not just Muslimun, even though we don't say Muslimun, but Muslimun, I mean you accept that you be in a condition where you have lived your life with taqwa. Any questions or comments on that? Yes, sir.
You got to help me with the pronunciation, but I'm compelled to ask the question. It's sand. You know what? Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
It's sand.
It's sand.
Is that included? Like you should prepare your life, even though you don't see Allah, but know that Allah sees you.
Yes. You're saying yes. That's right. Yeah, you're saying that, yes. That's right. Yes. That's you should behave. That's another way of putting it. You should behave as if you see Allah, but even though you don't see Him, He sees you. Yes. Yeah.
Right. So that just moved me to think that that's saying that.
Yes, sir. In other words, they would be quite compatible. In other words, they're not the exact same words, but it's the same results. The same result. If you behave as though you see Allah, even though you don't see Him, He sees you, then you will be Muslimun. And of course, you'll still be Muslimun. And you may have a little son, so be Muslimuni. You have a little son that's yours, Muslimuni. All right? And you say, well, he did so and so, just a sentence on. That's Muslimunu. A Muslimunu. Yeah, Muslimunu. But this one is saying, make sure that you're Muslimuna. Just one. So this ayat would lose its meaning if I took that off. You say, oh, he just forgot one little. No, the whole thing is messed up. What did I do with my mouth?
Inside your shirt pocket.
Thank you. I'm glad it's just in my shirt pocket. All right, just that one little mark. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you today, and then we'll go back and finish talk. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm looking at the translation here. I think this is Yusuf Ali, and it says in a state of Islam.
State of Islam. Yeah.
So what's the?
Well, Muslim and Islam both come from the same word, salima. Okay. So maybe he was trying to say the same thing I've been talking about all of you. He, instead of just saying Muslim, says state of Islam. Maybe if you. So, but this is what I just got through telling you. That's the state that you should be in right there. Object of taqwa. You should be the results of taqwa. All right. So if that's what he meant by state, and he couldn't translate like we're doing up here. He'd have a library on one page. So what you do have to understand that was that in translation you have to have to be economical with your words. So all that I went through here, he just said, well, it's just state of Islam. And so that doesn't make it a wrong translation, but it still leaves us short, you see, of the meaning that we should get out of it. Even though we're not saying his translation is wrong. Although sometimes he does translate things wrong. I think we talked about that. No, we didn't talk about that here. But we did talk about it somewhere recently. I was because we've been so long since we met. But we talked about where it's second chapter in the 30th verse, I believe it is, brother, where it says, Allah said to the angels, when he said to the angels, they translate saying, when Allah said to the angels, I am about to, he said, I'm about to create. And the word is not create.
That was on the lifeline.
I was on the lifeline, thank you. See, I knew I ain't crazy. The word, in other words, the word for, it's not, he's not saying I'm going to call it. No, he says, ja'ilun. And ja'ala means to make. And why is that important? So, well, what's the difference? Allah make and create. Allah can do either one of them. And he creates and he makes. But here he said making, and it's important so that you would have a better understanding of what the angels said. Because the angels, when Allah said he was going to do this, the angels said, what? You're going to create that, put in the earth that which will make mischief and cause bloodshed? And there's an inconsistency to that, because Allah turns around and says, he's gonna, after he does, then he said, put the things before the angel, says, tell me their names. And the angel said, we don't know nothing. So that means they did not, how are they going to know that this man would make mischief and cause bloodshed if Allah hadn't told them that? They had seen the man before, he was here already. And then Allah decided to put him, show him, I'm going to take him now and put him in charge of everything.
That's right.
All right. So, but if you otherwise you would listen, yeah, well, Iblis is the only one that stuck to it, but they all questioned him. No, they didn't. They just testified to what they had seen. They had seen the man running around making mischief. All right, and causing bloodshed. And the Allah said, well, I know, what does Allah say? He said, watch me when I teach him.
Right.
You see, that make a difference. When I teach him, and they all bow down, but Iblis still wouldn't bow down. But if we did, we still, now you might say, well, I never would have questioned that. You may not have questioned it out loud, but the question was still there in your head. Anytime you have conflicting information like this, where the angels say they don't know nothing, well, how did you know that this man possibly make mischief and cause bloodshed? If you didn't know nothing, and Allah hadn't tell you, and Allah's always said, I know what you don't know. You know, once I teach him, then he'll be suitable to take this job. That's what Allah tells us. All right. Any other? Yes, sir.
You know, while what you have said would have been correct if I was here or not, I'm glad to have been here to observe this, because I am also aware that many scholars who teach this language would not have picked up on this point you just made. They themselves don't know why that is the way you did it. So that is a sign of the way we're being blessed to be taught.
Blessed is a blessing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can witness that myself, and not trying to give me any credit, but except to show you that Allah is blessing us. I worked with a Pakistani. He has made his transition now. We both were chaplains in the same prison, which means that we should have been sit down there. They would sit down and talk about Islam all the time, right? When I started breaking things down like this down to him, you know what he told me? Brother, we talk about cubs. We still be friends. We talk about cubs. We talk about White Sox. You know, we talk about the Bears. We don't talk about religion. You know why? Because he had never studied the language. He speaks the language, but not the. How many of you sitting here right now, as intelligent as you are, could actually teach a course in English composition? I'm not saying that nobody couldn't, but most of you couldn't, even though you use the language and get along fine without it. But if you haven't studied the language, you know, you say, well, what made you so? I had studied English, and I was just naturally inclined, once I did start looking at the Arabic, naturally inclined to do the same kind of thing. And Imam Mohammed had already observed my different style, because I was teaching language arts at the Muslim. I was teaching language arts in the public school, and then when I became Muslim, I was teaching language arts in the Muslim school. And Brother Wallace would tell you the same thing. They used to talk about me at the dinner table, about how I talk.
Yeah.
If I'm lying, he said, you can tell me I'm lying right now. I won't quit.
Any of us will bear witness.
Right. So the point I'm making is that it's just a blessing from Allah. Mm-hmm. And if it's all right with you, we're going to do it on the Lifeline next Sunday. But if it's all right with you, since I'm still going to be giving you the information to put on next first Sunday, if it's all right. I will, inshallah, give a course in English.
Okay.
So that, because if we have a better understanding of English, then we have an English professor over here. And I guarantee you that Allah has blessed me with something. Even though I know she knows the 8 parts of speech, but Allah has blessed me with something. And I take the lady who taught me the 8 parts of speech like this. She passed away a couple of years ago. She was here in Chicago, even though she taught me down in Arkansas, but she came to Chicago. Her name is Dr. Carrie Davis. Allah blessed me to take it further than what she gave it to me. In other words, a lot of you may know about Nap-Vapsi, and if it's all right to do that, we'll do that next first Sunday.
I appreciate that.
All right, but Allah showed me something about Nap-Vapsi that Dr. Davis didn't show me. Okay. All right, and I was in her class for a couple of years. I took a couple of years from her. All right, so then we'll do that the next first Sunday. In the meantime, Don't let me forget to give you. I got them in a nice little package for you, so you don't have to worry about they're all together. And it's the big writing that all goes together. It tells you on it that the types of syllables, and then the Quranic, we have 5 pages of Quranic translation. Any other question or comment? But yes, Brother Daniel, and like I say, it's a blessing, and I feel humbled and truly blessed that Allah blessed us with it, me included, because they don't know it. And I had one young Muslim brother, he was riding with me with Uber, and we talked for a little while, and he said, and he was a lawyer. He said, I think you're going to have to teach us Islam. And I said on a lifeline this morning that my hope is that we all will get the appetite for it. Everybody's not going to go as far in it, but if we have a few who will go as far as you can with it, then you will see that we will get the kind of understanding that even the scholars in modern time don't have. Because they have sat back and not studied. They just took what Sheikh so-and-so said, and what Sheikh so-and ulama so-and-so, and they just go on like that. And they can, some of them can recite their hafiz, they can recite the entire Quran, and they can also, some of them are muhaddith, they can recite all of the hadith and so forth. I was telling the believers on the lifeline this morning, when I say my prayers, I am not satisfied in just reciting. As I recite, I'm trying to collate what the English meaning is as I go along. I don't just recite. I'm trying as I go along, and sometimes it throws me off. I think that's where we were here. That's where we were. That's where we were the Friday, because I was trying to think of the ayat number 9 in the 62nd surah. And I got so far and I couldn't finish. And I couldn't go no far. I couldn't go because I'm trying to find something for my Deen, because it says either in the when either, and I couldn't go any further because I'm looking for a Deen. And although it does say the call to prayer, but it's not a Deen. It's coming from another word, nudia. And when it says يا الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة في يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. So I was trying to think of the meaning, and the wrong word was coming up, and it stopped the Arabic. I couldn't recite the rest of the Arabic because the wrong word was coming up, and I knew that wasn't right. And I couldn't think of nudia. As long as I mentioned nudia, I've got another minute. I ran into another word this morning that meant moisture. But from a different perspective, so I can do this right quick. Nudia means to be moist or to be wet. All right, and I told you that means the call not to your ear but to your heart, because our feeling. I mean, when you got the feeling for Jumu'ah, you're supposed to make sure that you don't have things standing in your way so you can't get there. So that's why you have time. Well, I know I can't do that because I won't be able to get through on time. To be there on time. So that's naturally in us, and we have natural moisture when it comes to our feelings, whether or not it's to the extreme of hurt or anger, or to the extreme of happiness. We get so angry we cry. We get so happy we cry. We laugh till we cry. Okay, and then but the word that came up. And I think it was this morning that we were talking about, it was camel. Ibla, for camel. Ibla. And I said, that means camel? Because Ibla is coming from the same word as Bilal. Balala, which means to have moisture added to you. Then there was one is to be moist, and the other one is to have moisture added. So the camel is referred as Iblad because he drinks water, and then he do such a miracle with it. He can cross that desert with water stored not only in his stomach but in the hump on his back. So the two words, even though both of them have to do with moisture, and when you look it up, you might say, oh, these two words mean the same. No, One means to be moist, and the other one means moist, meaning to have moisture added to. One is naturally there, and the other one is added. Okay, the camel is not talking about his natural cellular moisture, but his capacity to deal with that moisture in such a way that it gives him an advantage on the desert. All right. Whereas nudia is referring to the moisture that's naturally in our emotion, and tied to our emotions. All right. Any other question or comment before we go? Because we run out. You take some time off, brother?
I comment.
Yes, sir.
Can we put that on the T-shirt? Your explanation
This-
that taqwa, that Muslim is a result of taqwa.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
sir. And you won't be wrong. Yes. and I tell you, like I told the brothers in the penitentiary, you can tell them, come see me.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of the translation that you give. It speaks for itself.
Yes, sir.
It,
Yes, sir.
you know, that speaks volume.
Yes, sir. All right. Then. Thank you very much. And there he is. Assalamu alaikum.
My slime.